If you like fasting and it makes sense to you, in this video I'll be coaching you free of charge. I've already shared almost everything about fasting in my fasting playlist, which has 5 videos so far. I'll link it at the end of this one. In this video though, I want to go over what I haven't talked about in those videos. A complete step-by-step blueprint for fasting that you can easily follow to reach your goal weight, no matter where you're starting from. In this video, I won't go into the details of why fasting is the best way to lose weight or all the other benefits that come with it. I've already covered those before. I'm assuming you're already familiar with them by now, but if not, make sure to watch them on my fasting playlist right after this video. I won't talk about my extreme weight loss transformation either for the same reason, but just to give you a quick recap. I started my transformation in March last year and I went from around 30% body fat down to 7% in just 1 year, all while being over 40, and for a short period of time I even pushed it to about 5% body fat, 18 months into my transformation. If you want to achieve the same results or similar results that I did, especially if you're over 30 or over 40 as I am, for both men and women, this video is for you. I've been doing OMAD continuously since March 2024, which, as of recording this video, is just about 4 months short of 2 full years. The only time I went off OMAD was during my overseas trip in June 2025. That was intentional. I wanted to fully enjoy the experience, and I had earned that right. But as soon as I got back home, I went straight back into OMAD. Since I already had the key to effective weight loss, I quickly lost all the weight I had gained and even dropped a bit more. Anytime someone comes to me and says, I still want to enjoy my pizza, my beer, my occasional cigar, or travel to the Mediterranean and enjoy the local cuisines, my answer is always the same. First, you have to earn the right to do that. You can't be talking about those things in the first week of your transformation. That would be like taking out a loan to buy an expensive car when you have no savings and not enough income. That's just dumb. In this video, I'll share the exact method I use with my coaching clients. A structured, stage-by-stage approach to getting into fasting the right way. If you get anything from it, support the channel by subscribing, liking the video and commenting. Want to support even more? Hype the video and share it with someone you know who needs to lose some or a lot of weight. By following this method, you can adapt to the fasting lifestyle and sustain it long term while regaining your health, youthful energy and appearance, and even get shredded if that's what you want. And you can do it at any age from any starting point, even if you have injuries that prevent you from being active. The good news is that fasting can even heal some of those injuries or health conditions, as it did for me. The ability to move freely again like a teenager is priceless. That's the best thing I've got from fasting. Now let's get started. Step 0. The mental game. This is the foundation of your weight loss, fasting, or any other endeavor in life. What you must have is what I call the warrior mindset. This is a war after all, a war against comfort and convenience, against what we have been constantly fed by society, the media, big food, and big pharma. This is the path to the 1% or even 1 in 1,000. You can't succeed in this unless you look yourself in the mirror, feel genuine disgust for what you see, and throw away that version of you forever. Then make the decision to replace it with the real you, the one you've been born to be, a free human, not a slave to cravings and lust. Facing the truth and making that decision is the hardest part. The rest is actually very easy. Just follow what I'll show you in the video and you'll get there within a few months. Look around you and you'll see that 98% of the people you see are losers, just drifting in life, unhappy and unfulfilled in their health, relationships, physique, career, or overall life. Until you mentally separate yourself from them completely, you'll never achieve big success or lasting success. If you're nice and easy on yourself, if anytime you fall off track, you say shit like, it's part of the process, I slipped, but I learned my lesson and I'm a better person because of it, then you're a loser. You're just protecting your ego by deceiving yourself. You're trapped in a never-ending cycle of failure. With each failure, your confidence goes down until you give up completely and quit. And it doesn't stop there. That loss, that quitting mentality, spills into every other area of your life until you end up living a life full of regrets. You're very lucky that most of us don't live in a war zone right now, because then there would be no room for errors in judgment. One small mistake and boom, you're no longer there. Or imagine another scenario in which you're taking care of your toddler. Would you say something like, "Oops, I wasn't watching and he fell off the balcony. But that's alright. We all learn after all and get better." If you would, you seriously need to get yourself checked. That weak lying mentality will get you nowhere in life other than permanent suffering, shame and guilt. With each concession, with every innocent slip, every time you break your promise, you lose a piece of your self-respect and the respect of others. Then you victimize yourself and blame everyone and everything else, instead of taking a hard look at yourself in the mirror. Well, I slip too, but I'm hard on myself. I make myself pay the price. For example, one donut equals 48 hours of fasting with heavy exercise, starting immediately. Suddenly, that donut doesn't taste so good anymore when you think about the consequences. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Starting this transformation journey is a binary choice. You're either in or out. There's no gray area, no middle ground, no so-called balanced life. You can't have one foot in and another out. When was the last time you saw a seesaw perfectly balanced? Exactly. Only one side wins. If you're a loser, just accept it and move on. Don't put yourself through unnecessary stress. Not every worm is meant to become a butterfly. Some of you are too far gone and there is no redemption. You might justify yourself by finding a disease and attributing it to yourself, but there's still no drug invented to cure laziness. Let that sink in. If you're looking for someone to tell you, "I love you, you're the best" in every video, go watch somebody else like Mel Robbins. My approach is no BS and no excuses. It's built on self-respect, not fake positivity. It's tough, but honest and real. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of all that feel-good talk if you're not getting any results? And it's impossible not to get results if you follow this master plan. And it's not just about your body. That's the easy part. What really matters is who you become. Anyone can build a great physique with drugs, but they're losing their health, and more importantly, they're not building any character. They stay weak. On the other side, if you're among the 2% that are meant for greatness, and you know it in your heart that you are, then this is for you. It's your time to shine. Keep watching. I'll help you transform your body, your health, and your life. You're on my side of the fence now, and I'll do everything I can to support you. How do I accomplish things? There's a secret, and it's just 2 words. Lock in. Whenever I set my mind on something, I just do it. When I wanted to quit sugar, I threw away everything sweet, even though I had paid a lot of money for them. I have zero mercy when it comes to winning the war. When I was done with alcohol or vaping, I threw all the expensive liquor and all the vape flavors that I had, worth hundreds of dollars. I threw all of them out. You need to do the same. You need to make sacrifices if you want to win. That's why I can't have sympathy for lazy people. I don't speak their language and they don't understand mine. Hence the negative comments. I'll put a link to a poster in the description. Print it large, frame it, and hang it on your wall. Right where you'll see it every morning when you wake up. Every damn day. One of the hallmarks of being among the 2% is the ability to keep going and pushing yourself through pain and discomfort, even when you're not seeing any results for months. One of the best lines I've ever heard was from Rocky IV, which was, "No pain. No pain." You have to tell yourself that all the time. Pain is just an illusion. Now, if I had shared the action plan without first talking about the mental game, like every other channel on YouTube, it would have been like handing a luxury car to a kid with no license, someone who doesn't even know how to drive. But now that we've got the mental game locked in, let's move on to the action plan. The first thing you need, if you want to stick with this long term and actually guarantee your success in getting into the best shape of your life, is a system. Without a solid system in place, it's always hit or miss. Sometimes you lose weight, sometimes you gain it back. If I had a penny for every time someone told me, "Yeah, a few years ago I dropped down to this weight, but then I gained it all back," I'd be rich by now. It happens all the time. You make some progress, start losing weight, but before you reach your goal or get the body you always wanted, you bounce right back. Sometimes you even do achieve it, but can't keep it. It's the pull of gravity. Nature always tends towards chaos until there's a system in place, a consistent system, to keep things in order. Let me give you 2 examples. First, think of a car on the highway. As long as it stays on the road, it will reach its destination sooner or later. Second, think about work or school. Most of us don't love showing up every day, but we do it anyway. You'd never just forget to go to work for a month because there are rules, a system, and expectations in place that keep you in line. And there are consequences if you don't follow through. Now back to the subject of weight loss, or more correctly, fat loss. As long as you just rely on willpower and motivation, you'll always fall short. One day you watch my video or any other video, get fired up, and go all in. But as soon as things get rough and that initial motivation fades, you slip right back into your old habits. It's not even really about hunger. In my experience, it's all about comfort. We're creatures of comfort, and modern life has made it incredibly easy to stay comfortable and still survive. Everything is built around convenience. Food isn't about survival anymore. It's about pleasure and escape. Most people use it to relieve anxiety and chronic stress, the same way they drink alcohol, smoke, or binge TV shows. If it were truly about survival, you wouldn't get hungry all the time while carrying that 50 or 100 pounds of excess fat. That fat alone could keep you alive for months without eating. Some of you are even carrying more than 200 pounds or 100 kilos of excess fat. That's why being at 10% body fat for men over 40 and natural is such a rare occurrence, maybe 1 in 1,000 in the Western world. For women, it's a bit different, but the same idea applies. When you have a system in place that you simply cannot deviate from, you set yourself up for success. And you'll get there eventually, even without motivation. And if you ever slip or lose focus, that system acts like a roadmap. It guides you back on track every single time. Now, how do you actually create that system, the master plan? That's what I'm about to share in this video. One way is to create it yourself, and I'm going to tell you how. On an Excel document or online on Google Sheets, create a master plan that contains everything, all the rules, all the steps, and all your goals, and track your progress. Write down your vision, your starting point, your targets, everything you learn along the way, your step-by-step food strategy, your food choices, your activity plans, your lifestyle plan, and supplements, which I'll make another video about that very soon. Track your weight and attach your progress photos. Write down your travel plans or life plans in general. And finally, include your most recent blood work panel markers and interpretations if you have one. Then on a separate document or within the same one, create an accountability tracker. This one is very important. Log everything you eat, along with all your activity and workouts. At the end of each month, give yourself points based on your consistency, positive or negative. Each week, set a new challenge and complete it, and give yourself grades based off of it. One important part of the program is the reward section. Anytime you've been consistent with the diet and activity, or whenever you complete a challenge, give yourself extra points. At the end of each month, spend those points on a cheat meal if that's what you like. That's your reward. Now, will it cause weight gain? In the long run, it doesn't, because it's what keeps you consistent and committed to the path. Now, if you're like me and are not intrigued by the idea of a cheat meal, get yourself a gift instead. Alternatively, you can save up your cheat meals and go on a trip once a year to truly indulge yourself. That's delayed gratification. And believe me, you'll get 100 times more joy out of that pizza, ice cream, or even a glass of wine. That's what I do. I'm a human too, just like you. I'm not one of those YouTube gurus pretending to be saints all the time. This isn't a religion after all. It's a way to maximize your joy, strength, freedom, and independence in life, hopefully until the age of 100. And what if you slip? Then make up for it by completing a challenge. Run 5 miles, do a 48-hour fast, whatever pushes you. That will erase the negative points. This is what I call the margin of error. A flexible program that has room for mistakes is always easier to stick with. This way, you're not just building an ironclad system for yourself. You're also gamifying the whole process. Just like wanting to move up a grade in school or get a promotion at work, you're promoting yourself to the next level of fitness and physique and health every time you hit a target. It gives you a huge boost of confidence and supercharges your motivation. With a solid program, the decision fatigue goes away. You just set it and forget it. like a train that takes you to your destination. If you're old school, print it out and fill it in by hand. Now I said that's one way to do it, but what's the other way? The other way is to skip all that work and get a ready-made system with everything already built in. All you have to do is just to fill it out. Where do you get it from? Well, it's not always free, but if you want to get it from me, just visit my website www.bigleaptheory.com and check out the memberships. Get a monthly plan, download everything including all my PDFs, which by the way include the transcript of this video. And if you'd rather continue on your own, just cancel anytime and still keep access for the rest of your 30 days. But if you stay, you'll become part of the community I'm building with your support, where you can interact with others, join regular group coaching calls, and stay accountable. I'll personally review your program each month. There's also the option of private coaching, which is a premium option. That's for you if you want one-on-one sessions with me and need more personalized support, like regular calls and check-ins. With private coaching, you automatically become a member too. Inside the community, we'll set challenges and work to accomplish them. It's the best way to kickstart your transformation. Once you get the hang of it, it's up to you whether you want to stay or continue the rest of the journey on your own. It's also the best way to support the channel and helps me make better quality videos. For example, right now I'm still shooting with my iPhone using the cinematic mode. My next plan for the channel is to get a proper camera so nobody else calls me AI anymore. And a wireless microphone that doesn't get in the way like this. As well as a proper computer that helps me edit faster so I can make more videos. Before continuing, another option, other than doing it yourself or getting it from me, is to use an app. But believe me, without proper supervision, that will only confuse you even more, and you'll have to pay for it anyway. I'm actually in the process of migrating everything for my clients into an app myself, but the difference is I'm in charge of the entire process, and the app simply runs my full program. It's there to handle the admin and increase speed and efficiency, nothing more. And even then, no app is 100% customizable, so you'll still need to do a few things manually, usually in spreadsheets. Now if you'd rather do it yourself from the start, I'll show you how to do it in the rest of the video. At the start of your transformation, set 5 key things inside your program. Number 1, the first tab is called motivation. You have to motivate yourself. Practice positive self-talk. Write down why you started this and why you must succeed. Attach motivational quotes. 2, set your goal weights. It doesn't have to be accurate, but it has to be there to show you where you're heading. The more unachievable, the better. You have to be unrealistic in this. 3, set your food strategy for the first month. This will evolve every few months. For example, 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day, or 1 meal a day, aka OMAD. I'll get to that later in the video. 4, set your diet type and food choices for the first month. This will also evolve as you progress. For example, omnivore or balanced, low carb, keto, paleo, Mediterranean, vegan, carnivore, etc. I'll get to that one later in the video as well. 5, set your activity plan for the first month, which you'll revise later as you progress. I'll talk about that too in a bit. Now I'll explain each one in detail. Let's start with the food strategy, which is the most important one. Step 1. If you're new to fasting and have been eating multiple times a day, basically grazing all the time, the easiest first step is to move to 3 meals a day. What I mean by meals isn't just main meals. It's anything you eat or drink that has calories. So between your meals, there should be 0 snacks, no supplements, except 0-calorie electrolytes, no protein, no BCAAs, fruits, creatine, vegetables, milk in your coffee, MCT oil, butter, creamer, exogenous ketones, coconut butter, pre-workouts, and so on and so forth. Basically, if it has calories, it counts as a meal. Black coffee, black tea, green tea, and 0-calorie drinks are fine. For most of you, having 3 meals a day might sound easy, and many of you are probably already doing that. But believe me, you'd be surprised how many people can't even stick to 3 proper meals with nothing in between. Most people are so used to constant grazing that without it, they feel like they're going crazy. Step 2. Once you feel confident, graduate to 2 meals a day. For some people, it takes a few months to get there comfortably. For others, it's so natural that they can skip the 3-meal stage altogether, right from day 1 of transformation. The principles stay exactly the same. You just increase your portion sizes a bit. As for meal timing, it's completely up to you, though most people find it easiest to have lunch and dinner and skip breakfast. Before continuing to step 3, let me tell you that I don't believe in a large eating window, like you eat nothing in 16 hours but you eat everything in 8 hours. The whole point is to get rid of that bad habit of grazing. That's for cows. Your eating window should be below 1 hour, or a bit more for OMAD. Now step 3. Once you're fully adapted and ready to take the next step, this is where the real fasting begins. Everything before this point was intermittent fasting, not true fasting. And this step is the biggest one, the one that leads to the most noticeable progress in weight loss. This step is OMAD, 1 meal a day. I've seen people jump straight into OMAD at the very start of their transformation, and I did the same myself, but it doesn't work for everyone. For most people, gradually transitioning into OMAD delivers far better and more sustainable results long term. I've seen countless people who jump straight into OMAD from day one when they were hyped up, only to start the downward spiral of cheating and going back to their old habits a month later when it becomes boring. But on the other hand, I've also had clients who started OMAD from day one and never fell off track. What I do is, if someone falls off track 3 times, not counting the allowed or earned cheat meals, I demote them back to 2 meals a day, and they have to work their way up to OMAD again. The exception is if they complete more challenges. If you coach yourself, you'll need to do the same thing. OMAD may be difficult at first, but you'll adapt to it if you stick with it long enough. For me personally, it took about 2 months to get used to it. OMAD was step number 3, so is there a 4th step? It can be. Once you're adapted to OMAD and have been doing it for about a year, if you still want to lose more weight, you can occasionally add 48-hour fast or even longer. However, I don't recommend doing this early on in your transformation. It can easily throw you off. You have to pace yourself. This isn't a sprint. It's not even a marathon. It's an ultra marathon. It's actually a way of life. Now let's talk about food choices, your actual diet. This is a step-by-step process, and it's up to you which diet you choose or how to modify it, and when or if you change it. If you're on a balanced diet and want to include proteins, fats, and carbs, along with meats, fruits, grains, vegetables, and everything else, here's my plan for you. Always go for healthy, whole foods. No fast foods, no sugar, no processed foods, and no highly refined seed oils, like canola. Start your meals with fibrous vegetables, such as a salad with olive oil. Then move on to the fats and then proteins, and save the carbs for last. Add a bit of apple cider vinegar or red wine vinegar to help with the digestion. Stop eating at least 3 hours before bedtime and go for a short walk after each meal to lower the glycemic load. If you're on a vegan diet, the same principles apply. Just make sure to increase your protein intake, since plant-based proteins are less digestible compared to the animal ones. For a detailed vegan strategy, head to my website. Covering the vegan diet properly would take a full video on its own, so I won't get into that now. Can you go on a keto diet while vegan? The short answer is yes, but it's very challenging. My suggestion is to limit carbs without completely eliminating them. Focus on nutrient-dense foods and stay away from empty calories. Now let's go back to the omnivore diet. Let's say you are already doing OMAD and want to take it a step further by going keto OMAD. Why keto, you might ask? First of all, you don't have to go keto at all. But if you do, you'll drastically speed up your fat loss while still getting all the essential nutrients your body needs. Think about it. There are no essential carbohydrates, but there are essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. What will you miss by cutting out carbs, especially high glycemic carbs? It might affect your workouts at first, but that's only temporary. You're just not adapted yet. Once you are, it becomes super easy. I've been on a keto OMAD diet since the 2nd month of my transformation. Sometimes I switch to a carnivore diet to drop a bit more weight, then go back to keto to enjoy more of the things I like. It's rare for me to eat carbs, and when I do, it's usually a few times a year, for example, while traveling overseas, just to enjoy the local cuisines and seasonal organic fruits in their most natural form, which are not modified or treated with pesticides or insecticides. Even then, I don't notice any real improvements in my workouts. The thing I notice the most is the quick weight gain. The other downside of carbs is that they're addictive. It's so easy to overeat them. For example, when I was on the carnivore diet, I started experimenting by adding some fruits. What I noticed was that even after reaching full satiety from eating steaks, when I'd normally get up from the table, adding fruits made me hungry again, but only for the fruits. I could keep eating them until my belly was stuffed, and I started gaining weight rapidly. What you need to do, if you agree with me on this, is gradually reduce your carbs. Start by cutting out bread, then pasta, followed by rice, oats, corn, and all other grains. After that, remove beans and legumes. Next, cut out potatoes and sweet potatoes. And finally, reduce or remove sweet fruits, though berries are fine in small amounts. Also, raw vegetables and most nuts are perfectly fine to include on a keto diet. What's not okay though are the supermarket keto branded foods. They're usually not actually keto or low carb. Just check the ingredients list. As for dairy, it's mostly fine if you check the label and they don't have additives or hidden sugars. If you follow this way, you'll have gradually transitioned into keto OMAD without putting too much pressure on yourself. It's a fast and effective way to lose weight while still getting all the nutrients your body needs. Moreover, keto is one of the best ways to break a weight loss stall. Now, next step. If you've been able to stick with keto OMAD for a few months, but have stalled and still want to lose more weight, you can move to a carnivore diet. Eliminate everything except meat, eggs, and butter. The best thing about carnivore is that you simply cannot overeat on it. To get some vitamin C and also for the immune system boost, whenever I go carnivore, I keep the lemon juice, raw onions, and raw garlic. The best part is that this diet fits perfectly with my minimalistic lifestyle. Anytime I open the fridge, there's only meat inside, which is not appetizing in its raw form. That completely removes decision fatigue. I'll make another video specifically about the carnivore diet. Comment below if you want to see that next. In the meantime, check out my Instagram page at Big Leap Theory to see my daily meals, workouts, or boost your motivation or morale. Now, if you're on a carnivore diet and still want to lose fat, the issue needs to be investigated. Case studies. One case I saw with a client was due to chronic high stress levels. When you're chronically stressed, your cortisol stays elevated, causing your body to break down muscle and hold on to belly fat, even though the number on the scale is going down. It also disrupts your deep sleep, which makes the whole situation even worse. Managing stress is a whole topic on its own, and I have tons of experience with it. That's why I've dedicated an entire section in my program to stress, sleep, and lifestyle. I'll cover that in another video soon. Now, whenever someone tells me that OMAD or keto gives them stress, and I dig a little deeper, I always find that it has nothing to do with it. While any major lifestyle change can create a bit of temporary stress in a transition period, and that's until the new order sets in their case, it's something entirely different. Their entire lives are a mess, and it's been like that for decades. Work, relationship, everything has been dysfunctional. They've just been numbing themselves with comfort food and alcohol. Now, without those crutches, they're finally facing reality, and they don't like what they see. Back to the weight loss stall. The other issue may be too much fat, but it's unlikely unless you're deliberately adding large amounts of fat to your diet just because someone on the internet said so, or you're biting a stick of butter just because you saw some girl on the internet doing that, not because you were actually hungry for it. Another issue might be the lack of activity. You need some level of activity, even if it's just walking. Movement is essential. Let me give you a cheat code. Another form of activity, which is one of the best forms of activity, is dancing. Now, the last reason that you might experience a weight loss stall, if none of the previous ones apply, is a health condition, such as hormonal imbalance, which can be corrected with natural supplements, but if not, you'll need to see a doctor for it. If I missed anything about why weight loss stalls happen, let me know in the comments below. Some of you guys have great points from your own experiences, and I'm always learning more. Another way to break a weight loss stall, if you've tried everything and still aren't seeing results, and this is something I've mostly seen in people over 60, is this. If you've done everything we've talked about and still want to lose more weight or drop below 10% body fat as a man or 15% as a woman, you can add a 48-hour water fast once a week. Just make sure to avoid coffee and other caffeinated drinks on those days, as they can interfere with your sleep. Alright, now that we've covered the diet, let's talk about physical activity. Just like with the diet, you should approach your physical activity in phases, gradually transitioning from one stage to the next. and make sure to track everything inside your master plan and accountability tracker. First of all, what's the best form of physical activity for fat loss? It is slow, steady state cardio in zones 1 and 2. Activities like walking, brisk walking, cycling, or even using the elliptical on a low setting. It is sustainable for long durations. Don't just take my word for it. Check out the calories burned on any machine or your smartwatch. You'll notice that you actually burn way more calories during this kind of physical activity if you do it consistently. If you can walk, aim for at least 3 miles or 5 kilometers every day. If you miss a day, make up for it the next. Personally, I'm at a point where some days I walk 15 miles or 24 kilometers, and my average is around 10 miles or 16 kilometers a day. Want to burn more fat? Add some moderate or high intensity cardio. It will supercharge your fat loss. Running is one of the best tools for fat burning, but it's not for everyone. If you're overweight or not adapted yet, it can put a lot of stress on your joints. In that case, simply continue walking, but walk uphill, or increase the incline on the treadmill, or substitute with an elliptical machine on higher settings, or use a spin bike. Watch my other video on fitness equipment for fat loss at home for more details. Hiking is also another fantastic form of exercise for burning fat, but again, all of this only works when your diet is already on point. Otherwise, you see a lot of fat people walking all day every day and still not losing any weight. In my own transformation, for example, I couldn't be very active during the first few months, yet I still managed to lose a lot of weight. Once my knee healed and I could walk more, the speed of my transformation was insane. Now the fun part. How about strength training and lifting, you're asking? Well, it's great for building muscle, but when it comes to fat loss, my experience and what I've seen in most people is the opposite. It makes you insanely hungry, which usually leads to eating more. Whenever I swap my cardio time for weight training, I end up getting much hungrier without burning nearly as many calories. Don't get me wrong, I love weight training for what it does to my muscle mass, bone density, and overall aesthetics. But let's be honest, it's not a weight loss strategy, contrary to what the media tells you, and it has been telling you since the 80s. It's a healthy activity that complements fat loss if done correctly, as long as it doesn't cause you to overeat. Another thing that is leading you to gain more fat weight is the pre-workout, the one that you've become so dependent on. Get over it. There's no point in training if you can't do it without eating. I always do all of my exercises fasted to use my body fat as fuel. So what's the best strategy to lose fat and gain muscle simultaneously without one sacrificing the other? Don't let your lifting time eat into your cardio time. Do both. And if you're overweight and just starting your weight loss transformation, don't worry too much about lifting just yet. Save it for when you're down to around 15 to 17% body fat. The way I do it now is through micro bulking and micro cutting, which is beyond the scope of this video. But in short, instead of spending months bulking and then months cutting, I bulk slightly around 5 pounds in a month while maximizing my strength training. Then I cut the same 5 pounds or about 4.5 pounds, accounting for muscle gained, while focusing on zones 3 and higher cardio. Now there are some ways to gamify the process and keep yourself active without relying on willpower all the time. One of the best things you can do is to get an Apple Watch or Garmin and aim to close your daily rings or finish your activity goals every day. Now if you don't have enough time to dedicate to exercise, do it like me. What I do to burn more calories effortlessly is to multitask. I have a spin bike, and while pedaling, I watch YouTube, movies, or talk on the phone. It's one of the most effective ways to manage your time. If you're interested, I've linked the spin bike I use, which comes with a large screen that connects to your phone, and it is both affordable and high quality. That's it. I think I've shared everything. Now let me share a few extra tips before we wrap up. Number 1, if you get too hungry on OMAD, drink an electrolyte mix, or at least add a pinch of salt to a glass of water. You can also add a bit of fresh lemon juice. It will curb your hunger. Next one, if you have a soft spot for certain foods, for example in my case, I go crazy for cheese and nuts. Do it as I did and ditch them. About exercise, I absolutely recommend HIIT or high intensity interval training, especially sprinting, but only after you've lost the majority of the weight, adapted to the exercise, and your joints are perfectly healthy. Finally, I never count calories or macros. So don't ask me how many calories I eat or how many you should eat. Just enjoy your food and don't overeat to the point where you can't even go for a short walk afterwards. And of course, if you're eating more than once a day, reduce your portion sizes and don't eat until you're fully satisfied. If you have any questions, comment below. And to save yourself a lot of time and hassle, just go to my website, get a membership, and support me. You can download all the plans and the master plan template, which you can copy the plans into. Stay a member and be part of the community. Help me make it better with you, with your ideas and your feedback. Over there, other than food and exercise tips and motivation, I'm also sharing my own journey, including the stuff I don't post on social media. My ultimate goal is to have the best, most consistent year-round natural physique on YouTube in the 40 to 50 age range, which I'm not very far from. Private coaching clients automatically become members, some of them for life, and they get the most focused one-on-one attention. You'll find the link below in the description. It's www.bigleaptheory.com. On top of that, this one's for free. Anyone who achieves great results will be given lifetime access. If you're one of them, you will be a shining example for everybody else. I'll even feature you in a video if you're up for it. And I'll do it even if you're not a member, as long as you've achieved great results. Be successful and inspire others. What if we could start a movement? One that goes against the grain and helps people become truly fit and healthy. That's something I've been thinking about since day one of my own transformation. That's what gave me all my motivation. And now, that dream is closer than ever to becoming a reality. Alright, did I miss anything? Is there anything you'd suggest adding to the program or master plan? Let me know in the comments. Tell me what other topics you'd like me to cover next. In the meantime, stay lean and age in reverse. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.